All right, so I'm pretty sure most women are familiar with that song, Can't Raise a Man by K. Michelle. And that is a pretty common concept or mindset when it comes to women and dating or being in relationships. You know, they don't feel that they should have to quote unquote raise a man, or like they feel like a man should come into a relationship knowing exactly how to conduct themselves and how to treat this woman. I too used to think that. I used to feel like, I shouldn't have to tell a grown man what is kosher and what is not kosher when it comes to being in a relationship. They should already know, either from their mamas teaching them or from previous girlfriends and being in relationships and learning what works and what doesn't work, right? So as I've gotten older and been in a plethora of relationships, that all, have pretty much clearly failed. Otherwise, I would have still been with people from the past, right? So again, being in all these relationships that have failed has taught me that we're not supposed to quote unquote raise a man per se, but we are supposed to teach people how to treat us. And that's not just even in like romantic relationships. That's just interacting with people in relationships, period. Be it friendships, be it working relationships, heck, our children, our family members, whomever. We are teaching them how to interact with us, right? And that's not raising someone. That's just letting them know how you expect to be treated, what boundaries you have, how you communicate, things of that nature. And all of those things are pertinent to having healthy and conducive relationships with people, just period. For example, when you like order a pizza or something, you don't just say, they should know what a pizza is supposed to taste like that'll taste good to me, and then just expect them to just deliver you your dream pizza. No, you tell them what you want, and then they deliver it, right? When you go to a hairdresser, you don't say, she should know how to do some hair that's going to look good on me. No, typically, unless it's a stylist that you have built a relationship with, you tell them what you want. So I don't understand how people go into these relationships with strangers, essentially, and expect them to know exactly how to treat them. The basics, of course, have integrity, be honest, don't beat on me, keep your hands to yourself, things like that. I can understand those things are understood. But think about this. I'm pretty sure if you are an adult and you're meeting someone for the first time and you guys first start dating, I'm pretty sure they've had relationships prior to you. And in those prior relationships, they were either taught consciously or unconsciously how to treat those women, right? And so their only knowledge of how to treat women is based on those previous relationships. So if they've dated nothing but, crazy chicks, or if they've dated nothing but women who don't mind being treated in a manner that you find unacceptable, then this person gets with you. If you don't flat out tell them this is unacceptable for me, they're going to assume that it's a green light to go for you as well. And that's how we get these relationships where, you'll be with somebody for a little bit of time and then you'll feel like, oh, I met their representative and now they've changed on me. No, baby, they didn't change. They're showing you who they are. They didn't change. They're showing you who they are. Typically, when you first start dating someone, that's when you're talking about my likes and my dislikes. And so you're actively teaching them what you like and what you don't like. And so they're falling into that mold because you taught them that. And then people assume that, oh, he's perfect for me or she's perfect for me based on getting to know each other. When no, you started a lesson and then when you got into the relationship, you didn't finish it. If that makes sense. You know, this is an ongoing thing. That's why they say, you know, it takes this amount of years to fully know somebody and things like that. It's because this is a learning process. Relationships are a learning process. Not only are you learning another person, you're also learning more about yourself if you're doing it right, in my opinion, right? So those of you who know me personally, you know, the situation with me and my guy, some of our little trials and tribulations early on. And I feel like it's not about who did what and when and how. It's more so about he and I both were not understanding the fact that we were supposed to be teaching each other. He and I both, you know, stopped the education, or let me see, not education, but we both stopped teaching who we are or who we were to the other person after the whole getting to know you phase, right? So then we move in together and all of a sudden it's like, who is this person? You know? And so I went into my default mode, default mode of how I behave. And he went into his default mode of how he behaves in relationships based on prior experience and not experiences with each other. And we totally clashed. Totally clashed. To the point where I left. You know? And even me leaving and all the times I threatened to leave, that was teaching him something. That was teaching him that certain behavior was a deal breaker for me and it would cause me to leave. You know, I didn't have to implicitly state that to him, but he still got that lesson, you know. And typically, if you are consciously teaching a person how to treat you early on and you are continuing that once a relationship is formed, it doesn't get to that extreme. It doesn't get to the point where now you got to take drastic measures to teach this person how to treat you. You know, like there are people who, you know, early on in the relationship, the boyfriend will do some unforgivable somethings or whatever. Or even the girlfriend will do something totally unforgivable. And because it's new and you love the person and you're still in the honeymoon phase, you forgive them. And then you look up and you're like, why does this person treat me like a doormat? Or why does this person run over me? Or why does this person continue to do these things that they know hurt me and know that I do not like? Well, it's because in the beginning, you set that tone and you taught them, oh, this person's going to forgive me for this. So I can do what I want and they going to still be here for me. So sometimes that can happen. You know, when you get a person who's a little selfish, who is a little emotionally immature, I'm not going to say they're bad people. I'm just going to say that they're a little selfish. They're a little emotionally immature, you know. And so when you set that tone, like I said, it takes drastic measures to go back and reteach them, no, this is not okay. This is not acceptable. This is not how I want to be treated in this relationship. And these are the consequences and repercussions to me being treated this way in this relationship. And now when I say consequences and repercussions, I don't mean that, oh, you're going to go and punish your mate. Like, you cannot punish another adult. That is not your role. That is not your place. Okay? Like, that means that there's an authority in the relationship and there's a subordinate. And no healthy relationship has that dynamic. So no, when I say consequences and repercussions, I mean that everybody should have boundaries. Everybody should have a clear understanding of what they will accept and what they will not accept in a relationship with a person, and both of you need to come to an agreement that, okay, this is where the line is drawn. This is what's acceptable and this is what's not acceptable. And this conversation needs to be had at the beginning, even before a relationship is started, even before feelings develop. Because when that conversation is had, then 9 out of 10, if your boundaries don't match up with that other person's boundaries, y'all are not going to progress. Y'all are not even going to continue pursuing a relationship. I guarantee you, if most of these men found out at the beginning that a woman is not okay with them flirting, not okay with them dealing with other women, not okay, period, with any of that, and if a man does do those things, that she is going to leave and cut him off and have no more dealings with him, then if the man is worth a quarter, he's either going to A, nip that in the bud, or B, leave her alone. Like, nope, I don't want them problems. That's not what I want. Like if a woman from the beginning says, I don't do yelling, I don't do arguing, I shut down, I will ignore you. Or conversely, if she says, I don't do yelling, I don't do arguing, it makes me black out and I will swing on you. If a woman says that in the beginning, that's going to give this man something to think about. Like, okay, I'm known for being a loudmouth. I'm known for yelling and turning up. So do I want to go ahead and pursue this with this woman? Or do I, or am I going to amend my behavior to keep this woman? Like, I promise you, if both people are emotionally mature and you had this conversation while dating, like I said, either A, somebody's going to pursue you and continue that relationship coming in knowing what is expected, or B, they're going to leave you alone, period, and not waste your time. I promise you. And it's like a lot of people say, yeah, we already do this. We have these conversations. We do this when we're dating. And then people change. No, typically, if you really think about it, you don't have those set conversations saying this is a deal breaker for me. You have these are my likes, these are my dislikes, this is what I like about you conversations. This is what we have similar conversations. Yeah, me too conversations. But it's never, this is what I can't deal with. This is how I respond if I'm faced with this sort of behavior, and this is, these are the options of how I expect to deal with this sort of situation. Those conversations aren't had because it's talking about a relationship before a relationship forms. And we all know we don't want that pressure, quote unquote, during the talking phase. So no, these conversations aren't had by the vast majority of people. I just feel like, if they were, then a lot of time would not be wasted and a lot of babies would not be created by people who are incompatible. And this is me speaking from experience. Again, those who know me personally know I got a whole heap of baby daddies. Just for the simple fact that I didn't teach none of them jokers how to deal with me. And they didn't teach me how to deal with them. And so things fell apart. We tried to make it work, but things fell apart. And it's not because they're bad people. It's not because I'm a bad person. It's just because we didn't teach each other how to treat each other. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that subject. Let me know what you think. Do I not know what the hell I'm talking about, or do it make sense? Let me know.